You lived it.
Yes. So does that door, is that something you want showing?
Oh yeah, we gotta shut that door. That way we're not being interrupted. And I can edit anything on here, so we're good.
Okay. So you're
And I can scoot in till Tracy comes if I
Yeah.
need to.
can't Tracy sit
We're not
there?
social distancing here today.
Good thing.
And what I have here is, let's talk about our mission and vision and dream. Ann, you've been involved since the very beginning. Tell us how it all began.
Okay.
Is that an okay to?
That's
Mhm.
good.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about our visions and dreams, and it's important to know where we've been and where we're going. Ann, you've been here since the beginning. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how everything got started for the Crestview Area Shelter for the Homeless?
Okay, I will. It started out with a prayer. As I was walking down a dirt road one morning and got cold and was thinking I needed to go back to my house and get a jacket. And all of a sudden the thought came to me, well, what do homeless people do? They can't go back to their house. They don't have a house. Maybe they don't even have a jacket. And so I have been praying, God, what do you want me to do? And I felt like He was leading me to start working with the homeless. So I connected with Rita and some other people in the community, and we got together and started taking our cars around and trying to find the homeless and taking them a bottle of water and a sandwich. And then we began talking about, do we need cold night shelters? And how do you do that? How many cots would you need? How many blankets would you need? We didn't
What do you
know.
have to do this?
We didn't know. And the homeless kind of taught us along the way. And then other people who worked in Fort Walton in the homeless community, they gave us a good background and helped us get started. So about
About how many people you think when you first started, the first 6 months or so, were there?
the first 6 months, I thought there were only about 30 homeless people. I had a rude idea. There was a lot more than that. I just didn't know where they were or how to find them.
And how many people were you working with at that time when y'all first started, approximately?
Probably 30 to 50
Okay.
at the first
That's
year.
impressive.
Yeah, the first year. But then it started growing, and we found out as we got to meet these people and we talked to them, we found out what they really needed. And we found out they needed showers. And so then when a building was offered to us by the United Methodist Church, it was an old parsonage, just a small 2-bedroom. They had one bathroom with a shower. And sometimes we'd have 30 people lined up outside the door waiting to get in to take a shower each day. And we began feeding them and offering soup kitchens.
And you still have volunteers at this point, right?
We're all volunteers.
Wow.
Then around 2014, we got our incorporation. And then 2015, we actually got a grant. And then in 2016, we hired our first two staff members.
And those were part-time, right?
They were part-time, yes. And then we stayed in this building that the church had offered us for 2 years. And then we were offered an opportunity by United Methodist Children's Home, who used to operate a foster home operation. They had a building that they weren't really using. And they wanted a nonprofit to take it over that would use the entire building of about 14 bedrooms, and each one had their own bath and several office rooms and a donation room. So they offered it to us, lease free. So
Wow.
Of course we were excited to jump through that hoop and start doing that. And there again, we didn't know what we were doing, but we found out. We were willing to be taught about it, and as former teachers, some of us, we knew we could do this. So we started working more, and of course the services just exploded.
If you build it, they will come.
The people came and came and came. So we have really, really grown, and I've learned a lot during this. One of the things that really impressed upon me was when I heard the statistic that the best way to help a homeless person is to house them. Just so much, they need the stability before they can live a self-sustaining life.
Isn't that where y'all kind of developed your mission statement around? What was the mission statement
It is.
again?
The mission statement was to meet the physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of those who are homeless and those at risk, and in order to provide an avenue of self-sufficiency, which strengthens our community. And that's what we wanted to do. Help them individually and as families, but strengthen our community too. Make it a better place to live.
Yeah.
A better quality of life for everybody.
I remember the first time I dropped by the house y'all were in. I was just going to give you a bag of clothes. He said, "Come on in, let me show you what we have here." And I walked in and there were all these people sitting in the living room. And I think David was in the kitchen and another gentleman, and they were cooking. And everybody was just waiting. You could just see they're waiting for saying, "There's food,"
Yes.
you know? And people were coming and going in and out one bedroom, and the other room was the case managers. And I'm like, holy moly, they do a lot of stuff out of this little place. And then when I started coming and working with some clients on Social Security, I couldn't find a place to talk to clients. So we'd go out and we'd sit in my car because there wasn't room anywhere to have privacy,
Right.
to talk to anybody.
I used to have appointments in my car too. If we had to have a really private conversation.
Yeah, but people were thrilled because they were getting help that they needed. It seemed like Jim and Chris were always in conference with a client every time I came in the door, and there was always people inside and outside waiting.
Yeah. Well, as this program grew and we got to know more and more of the needs of the clients, we found out they really needed to be housed. And of course, we looked around, where can these people be housed? How can this happen? And last year we were given a COVID grant, a grant due to COVID, and a component of that was for rapid rehousing. And so we were able to start housing some people, over 100, and that was a blessing. But there's more. I mean, we have a lot of clients that need housing. So one of our dreams and visions was to have a tiny house village.
Yeah.
And we have talked and researched trying to figure out how can we do that. And it's been another learning process
Yes.
on how to do that. But we're excited that we have this goal, and it seems like it's coming to fruition.
Yeah. That somebody would donate land to begin to make that dream be a possibility.
That was-
And if we get additional funding through grants for the homes, those homes will go on giving for years to people to have housing. And it's fulfilling the mission statement that you guys created long ago.
Way back when.
What a long and colorful, varied past, and what a hopeful future.
Yes. What we're doing gives hope.
Yeah. When I first started talking to clients, they're like, "Oh, you're going to volunteer here at the Helping Hands House?" And I'm like, "The what?" "This place, it's the Helping Hands House. They give us a helping hand here." And I'm like, oh, what a perfect explanation of what is done here at the shelter. And they still all run into one or two of them out on the street, or, the other day I was downtown and one rode by on his bike, "Hey, Miss Kay, you been to the house lately?"
Yeah.
"Yeah, I've been by. Have you?" "No, but I'm going next week." And it's nice that, and in fact, about 3 weeks ago I was coming up and a man said, "Do you work here?" And I said, "Well, sort of. I volunteer here." He said, "I can't believe there's a place like this." He said, "I've been in big cities and needed a hand, and they treat you like dirt." He said, "I come here and everybody is friendly and nice. They talk to me, they respect me, and they help me do what I need to do. And I said, yep, sounds familiar to me.
I hear that a lot too.
I bet you do.
I think that's one reason we've been accepted into the community is when we first started this endeavor, they watched us to see if they could trust us or how we were going to treat them. And so I think because the attitude was a servant's heart,
Yes.
we were accepted in the community, and I think that's why Cash has been as successful as they have been, is because we can relate to those people and we have their best needs at heart.
I think you're right. I think it's not an us versus them, it's a we. And that's apparently, according to what I'm hearing, unique. Out there in the, not just among the homeless, but in the world even sometimes.
And now that we are having the trust of the homeless, I see more women coming, more families coming. We don't just serve the drunk man under the bridge. We serve people just like you and I. Some of them have been former teachers, former nurses,
Yeah.
good community people, but something happened in their life that changed it.
Yeah, I read something the other day that said each one of us is only one life catastrophe away from being homeless.
Or
That it
one
could-
paycheck away sometimes.
Yeah. So we make a difference. What is it? Somebody said the other day, we are a beacon of hope and a source of help in a world where that's in short supply. And it seemed to perfectly describe the shelter from the moment you started out with blankets and food in the trunk.
Yes. It's really changed. And now we hope to educate them so that they can sustain themselves.
Yeah, and break that cycle that they've been in and mentor. That'll be a big change. All right, well, thanks for sharing your thoughts. Anything else before we close? No? Okay, thank you.